Wagwado Focarinos, thank you for tuning back into my latest video titled Ferrari versus Lamborghini. Who will win? Place your bets now. We're going to jump into each of the fastest laps that I did, so we're not sort of wasting time. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I've wondered what's the difference between the Ferrari and the Lamborghini. Lamborghini Hurácan Group 4 four-wheel drive, both MR engines, and I've chosen Group 4 and Group 3. So we've got the GT3 Ferrari and the GT3 Hurácan as well, and we're pitting them against each other. And I've chosen Tsukuba, and I have chosen Monza with the chicane. The reason why I've chosen these two is because Tsukuba's small, so I thought it would highlight acceleration and quick handling. So I think the Hurácan's going to blossom well here. The Ferrari, as you can see, has hit a 57.856. So we're going to end it there. That was a good run. Felt comfortable. You know, the car was not necessarily being pushed past its limits, but it felt like it was just a comfortable lap. So we're gonna stick with that one, and now we're gonna jump into the Lamborghini Hurácan four-wheel drive. So I'm expecting this to wipe the floor with the Ferrari. 57.856. Balance of performance, we put that on for each of the cars, and we put racing mediums on as well. So in that sense, each of the tests have same tyres, same balance of performance, so we can make it as fair as possible. So here we are, we're in the Lamborghini. Time to beat 57.856. We're up against the Ferrari 458. We're still in the Group 4 category. I quite like this corner now in Tsukuba. It was a little bit of a difficult one. I always found that I was turning in a little bit too early, and I was having to hold the throttle for longer to make the corner. I don't really think you can class it as a hairpin, but it's a big hairpin. Just a tiny little lift coming into this corner here. We're keeping it pinned, starting to release the pressure of the tyres with the wheel, hard on the brakes, into first gear, and coming into that corner we are very careful, and we are trying to maximise turning the wheel in and also acceleration. So obviously we're decreasing the accelerator to be able to maximise the turn, all while still having some acceleration there to still push the car around and balance the car. So what do we have here? A 57.978. So we're over a tenth compared to the Ferrari. I was surprised because I expected the Hurácan to perform better around this shorter track, tighter, but here we are. We have already done a Group 3, but that was a long time ago when I first got the game, so even though I've done that, ignore that. So we're just over a tenth. Now it's time to test out the Group 3 cars. What do we start off with? We start off with the Hurácan Group 3 manual transmission. I'm a really big fan of this car. I'm not gonna lie. If you're getting into sim racing or you're getting into racing, blah get in the Lambo. It's a great car to learn. It's a little bit more forgiving, which is why I thought it would perform better. But now we're jumping into something that's got more power. So can we put more of the power down with this Lamborghini compared to the Group 3 Ferrari? So when we jumped into the fastest lap, which is going to be lap 5. We've just completed lap 4. Into the corner, bringing it in. We could have made that a little bit tighter, but it was still a comfortable corner, and it would only have been a very, very minute time. So here we are, down into first gear, just touching the apex, maximising as much of the throttle on the exit, keeping the wheel as straight as we can, so we can get all that power down to the wheels. You've really got to get that line right as well coming into that corner, because it's if you lift, obviously you're going to lose out on some speed. Again, coming into that hairpin, really having to maximise the braking and the accelerator to balance the car and send it to the final straight into the penultimate corner. It's like a mini Monza penultimate corner. And we hit a 54.586. So we're a few seconds faster than the Group 4, but that's obviously going to happen. We're still going on here. No, we've stopped. So 54.586. Pretty good time. The car felt really comfortable. It's not really like the Group 4 car, because the Group 4 car, you can't really push it to the extent that you're in trouble. And what do we get on the roulette? Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, we get the BRZ, baby. What year was this? 2017. Absolutely zero power, but great handling. Good for drifting. Cracking back on with the video. We're on to the last car now of the first out of the two circuits, Tsukuba and Monza. We're going to jump into the 458 GT3. Big fan of this car. When I first jumped into this car, I struggled. It's not a car to choose if you are just getting into the game. Like I say, these are great cars to master your driving skills, because they are so twitchy, and if anything, any minor error you make sort of projects into what feels like a little bit of a bigger error. So once you can master these cars and you can get comfortable clean laps and be able to put the power down without any problems, so there was a little bit of a lift there. We kept it pinned in first, I believe. It was good fun, that, actually. So we're down into first, just coming off the brakes, we're keeping it in, absolutely pinning it in first on the way out, and it does feel so different to the Hurácan. Now the Hurácan Group 3 was similar to the Ferrari Group 3 in the sense that you really felt the rear end kick out. There was a little bit more grip with the Hurácan, but I don't know whether that extra grip is you are losing out on a little bit of speed. I suppose I've got to do the balance of performance somehow. And here we are, first lap. We've hit a 54, we've nearly hit a 53. And we're going to keep going, because obviously that was the first lap. I thought, well, if I could do that, let's see what else we can get. I think that ends up being actually, though, quite a good little lap. It was quite a comfortable corner. There we go, already in front, trying to make some time back, pushing it a little bit too much. You know, this is one of the other things that I've learned with regards to racing. As soon as you push that extra little bit, you've messed it up. You're already kind of on the limit. If you can go faster, it's not necessarily a case of you pushing the car faster. I think it's more of a case of balancing the car so the car turns in better, brakes better, and accelerates better. That's truly the trick. So we're going to come up to lap 2 now. What we're going to hit, a 55.44. So we're literally a second, or just under a second, not even a tenth, under a second from our first lap. So comfortable lap, that first one. I think it kind of says a lot, though, to be honest. We tried that corner in second gear. There was still a little bit of spin, so it's worth getting it down into first, using that engine braking for extra stopping power, and just lining it up as quick as you can and just planting that power down. So this felt a little bit better, a nice little run, a little bit of a slide, but so obviously we lost the run for this last straight into the penultimate corner to Tsukuba, and I think that is the end of this test in Tsukuba, so we're going to jump to Monza. Before we do that, we will quickly check, and look, we do hit a 53, so we've actually gone under 54, and it's at that moment that I thought, well, there we go, then the Ferraris beat it straight away. Now I do have something to say about this. It is a test that I wanted to figure out for myself. So my driving skills are not ultimate. My driving skills are my driving skills. You have to drive four-wheel drive cars differently. So we'll look at the ranking board there. The GT3 times, I did that a long time ago, and we're only just sort of not even a tenth quicker, so that's sort of good news. But the Ferrari's champion in both Group 3 and Group 4. Hurácan is second place. But what I was saying was, we're choosing Monza with the chicane here again because I just think that's the fairest way to test. But what I was saying was, what was I saying? Yes, this test it's been driven by me, so there are obviously other drivers that are obviously much better. Maybe the Hurácan is a better car, I don't know, but for me the Ferrari is better, so at least I've learned that. For me, these videos are ultimately what I want to find out. Hopefully you guys enjoy them too. But I think if you're in a race, especially the longer races, so maybe a race C daily, or an FIA race, or an open lobby that you're running high tyre wear, long laps, is the Hurácan then going to come into its own? Because yes, the Ferrari has beat both those times, and I make a statement here to yourself. Which one's going to win on Monza? Group 4 and Group 3. Are we going to say the Ferrari again, or is it going to be the Lamborghini? I find this extremely interesting. We've hit a 57.848 with the Lambo. So now we're going to jump into the Group 3. Sorry, we're on Group 4. The Group 4 Lambo. Now we're going to jump into the Group 4 Ferrari. 444. And what do you think? Do you think the Ferrari is going to beat this, or do we think the Hurácan is going to stay on top? But I do think longer races are going to make big differences. That you really notice the Group 3 Ferrari's back end kick out so much more than the Hurácan. But when your tyre wear is quite low, you're going to really struggle getting that power down, even in second gear. So perhaps the Hurácan comes into its own, I don't know. But here we are, we're in the Ferrari. You can absolutely wring the neck of this thing though, even in first gear with almost full lock. It is quite well balanced when you're wringing its neck. So that lap was a 57.05. Sorry, 57.05, 57.501. I was just thinking about the Group 3 Ferrari is probably, I would say, the most enjoyable car to drive. Again, the Hurácan, you do sort of know about it. There are a few twitchy moments, but there's something about getting behind that Ferrari Group 3 that's entertaining. Coming up to this corner, you're really pushing the car to its limits. We're going to hunker down into second gear. We chose Monza because Monza was race C of last week's dailies. I was using the Corvette. I was thinking about using the Corvette, but Lamborghini versus Hurácan, I think, Lamborghini and Ferrari, they're just two well-known brands. We've hit the barrier there, so we thought, well, we've hit the time of 157.5. Which again, we've beat it by 678, 3.5 tenths. So over 10 laps, what's that? Nearly 3.5 seconds worth of distance increase. But again, would that equate to that with tyre loss, even with both cars? I do not know. Maybe the Hurácan does come into its own. sticking balance of performance on, racing mediums yet again. We're now jumping into the Group 3 cars, the Ferrari 458 GT3. I love this. I just love getting in this car. I love the look of it. I love the feel. I love the interior. It just feels like a beast. I'm really looking forward to upgrading my rig to the PC setup. Obviously getting games such as iRacing, Assetto Corsa, these sorts of things, even BeamNG, because that just looks like so much goddamn fun. But sticking the V3 and the Traction Plus, I think that's really going to add to the immersivity of these games, which is ultimately why we're here. We're here to enjoy them. So we are in lap 4 now. Lap 3 was our fastest, touching a 1:48.421. Can we beat that? No, we can't. There's no sound, which you've probably already realised. I've recorded this on my Elgato, and for some reason the sound just cut off, so I'm just going to whack some music behind this for you guys to enjoy. And the fastest lap for that car was that time. So we're going to jump back in to the final car and the final track. We're going to come up to the finale of all 4 cars on both tracks. I did find this really interesting. Towards the end of the video, you're going to hear what my thoughts are to continue this battle royale. But before we get to there, we're coming into the corner. I can't remember the name of it, but we want a really nice run out. Lap 1. Just wondering why there's no time, but the ghost is there, unless it's just the ghost from last time. Really pushing that in. I've learned, yeah, you see how much speed we're pulling there? I've learnt so much from just really hunkering down with Group C in the Corvette in that corner. You really want to obviously maximise your speed going through that, but you really want to tuck it into the right, so when you tuck it into the final left of that S bend, a little bit of a slide, you can get on the gas much earlier, and it's quite a long, it's not really a straight, but you keep the gas pinned, so obviously the quicker you get back on the gas, you're going to gain more and more distance. That last corner as well, it's quite a nice and easy corner. On the brakes, gently trail braking in, jumping on with a little bit of throttle to balance the car. Wait until you've got that balance in the suspension, and then you apply the throttle fairly quickly. Maximise the speed. Coming up to the penultimate corner, I'm going to have to learn the names of these tracks because I do not want to keep saying penultimate. Hard on the brakes. We're going to turn in. Do we clip the apex? We do. We need to get hard on the gas, and we need to come off just a touch, which was good, so that we've hit the apex. A little bit wobbly, but we've got the line there. It's not really going to affect the time that much. Again, driving the car, you drive it in specific ways, and that ends up being the best time, a 48.771. And here we go, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the same gap between the Group 3 and the Group 4 cars. I found it really interesting. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue this series, not right now, but my next video, and I've decided to go for something that's got a lot of grunt, and we're going to go for the Dodge Viper. We've already got the GT3 car, so it's a case of just buying the Group 4 car. And yeah, there you go. So again, I'm not the fastest driver. Other drivers will probably say that the Hurácan is better, but for me, the Ferrari is better. You know, it might be interesting to do one with tyre wear, see what it's like on really low tyre wear, see what the lap times come in as. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.